Ladies and gentlemen, the American German Bulldog Nation, sometimes I pick a bad shirt for our backdrop, and I don't really like this shirt, but too bad. I want to pick up where I left off yesterday. I'm going to do it with a lot less anger, but you always forget something when you let it rip. If you didn't know this, I have a teleprompter, but I never use it. We never turn it on. And so I do things unscripted. It just comes, so you always forget things. One thing I can't believe I forgot, talking about how evil these people are, is the pregnant women, the nursing mothers. I mean, to play that hardball on nursing mothers, pregnant women, young women, evil, evil, evil. Another thing I want to just report to you and say to you is that yesterday I had 2 epic phone calls with people inside the tri-state healthcare systems, and they are doing what I've told you all to do, and it's this. We're going to win this court battle, I sincerely believe, next Tuesday. How do I know that? I don't know it. It's just the strength of the case. I feel like we have a really, really strong case on the issue of how they've messed with these medical and religious exemptions. If you remember, what happened up in New York City had to deal with the exemption process. But I want to stress to you that you should be listening, making notes, copying. Anything that you see is wrong. Illegal stuff, wrong stuff, unethical stuff. And you need to document that, because the more information that you have, the better position you're in if the time ever comes that you're terminated or you leave. Because then you'd have a stronger case. And these hospital systems, these board of trustees, and these managers, it's just awful what they've done. They have harmed healthcare in the tri-state. COVID hasn't harmed healthcare. These people have harmed healthcare in our community. They have hurt their healthcare workers, and they don't deserve any quarter for what they've done. Remember that when we ask about deadlines, an exemption deadline isn't the catch-all. You miss an exemption deadline to submit, the mandate deadlines are what's the most important. But again, apply for any medical and legal exemption you can, no matter who you work for. How crazy is it that the work replacements, I'm hearing all these rumors about where they're trying to get work replacement. What happens to healthcare when you have more inexperienced people unfamiliar with your healthcare system, or out of the country nurses being brought in, et cetera, et cetera? Look what happens to patient care in this tri-state. The lawsuit on Children's Christ, UC Health, Good Sam and Mercy was filed. We still, even the 2 days later, we still don't know what judge it's been assigned to. My guess is the enemy is trying to assign it to the worst possible judge they can. I'm joking. Also, do you realize, and I had this conversation with somebody yesterday, don't be worried about being fired as it's going to hurt your career. Just think about this. If you're fired because you wouldn't get the vaccination, that's not going to hurt you finding another job at all. I mean, may not find another job with somebody that requires vaccination, but getting fired because you wouldn't take a vaccination is a far cry. But again, you're not going to get fired. We're going to stop this by October 1st. This was sent to me, and I like lists. And when I get lists, it's just a great reminder. They closed our businesses, they closed our schools, they closed our churches, our beaches, banned parties, banned funerals, banned graduation ceremonies, banned nursing home visitors, hospital visits, dads in delivery rooms, travel, designated what constitutes a meal. They allowed protests, riots, anarchists to co-op cities, storming of police precincts. They allowed the assault on police. They allowed multiple funerals for people that fit that agenda. They allowed businesses to be destroyed, gun stores to be closed, statues to be vandalized, churches to be set on fire, the infringement of our liberty and our Constitution to be ignored. These same people led by Tony Wuhan Fauci. Just think what they did to this country the last 2 freaking years that didn't have to happen. This is incredible. I have this long list of emails that I was going to go through, but I'm not. I'm going to save it for a different day, of just incredible information and stories that are coming. These were the ones I wanted to share. The show would be too long. But keep sharing the information that you've been sharing. I just saw this. I got to pull out a few. I'll use these few because they say the protected need to be protected by forcing the unprotected to use the protection that didn't work, protecting the protected. That's pretty funny. City of Independence posted in their little community thing, St. Elizabeth Healthcare has added a page to show current hospitalizations. Think about that. And it says St. Elizabeth will lead the communities we serve to become the healthiest in America. It's a total fraud, folks. A total fraud. One of the hospitals is reporting 3% of the COVID patients are unvaccinated or are vaccinated. It's 50%. By the way, you say, where are you getting this information? I'm getting it from healthcare workers inside the hospitals. This hospital system, totally, if you're COVID positive but not sympathetic, symptomatic, you're expected to work. Really? 15 nurses and labor and delivery are getting ready to resign. They're already short 10. Remember that story up in New York City? Now remember, St. E's is saying, we will lead the communities we serve to become the healthiest in America. They mistreat their employees so bad, 15 nurses in labor and delivery are getting ready to resign, and they're already short 10. So what happens to our community of expecting moms when you've got that situation? The board of trustees and the management of these hospitals are darn near, they're not darn, they are criminals. By the way, billing fraud, woo, baby. The billing fraud that's going on. And guess what? I got all the info. Billing fraud. Sick. Let me give you an example. I got to give you an example. How messed up is it that these hospitals will test everybody that comes to their hospital for COVID, regardless of who they are, just testing everybody. And they can't get paid for that. So the hospitals say, exposure to COVID. Exposure to COVID. When they know they weren't exposed to COVID. I've said it once, I've said it before. This whole COVID thing is a complete evil thing that's been laid upon the American people. This is the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. These hospitals are crooks.